Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends. I have a little bit of a scratchy throat. I've been backstage talking to Kat. We were having our pre-party backstage, and you guys were having a pre-party in here. We had people in here at 5 o'clock this morning. I love it. Get to chat with each other. Christina says, do a poll, Brooks, about Chris. Innocent, guilty, not sure. I can do that. I can do that. I think there's a big reason that the judge lowered his bond and he's out and Diana Kojikari is still in. But I don't know. But we're going to go through it and see what you think. Hello to Boston Moms. Hello, Raven. Hello, Momo Shark. Everybody's piling in. NC Mountain Girl. Sal 80. Good morning. Good morning. Christina said, absolutely agree. Christina said it, everybody. Madam Secretary has spoken. We're on the same page. Running Buck said, life sucks. Well, honey, get you a membership and I can make it better for you. 8 quarters. 8 quarters, Running Buck. I'm just kidding. Well, hello, Kevin B. How are you? I've been trying to get a hold of you. Do you not answer your phone anymore? It goes straight to voicemail and then you text me some TikTok stuff. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Wendy. Let me tell you what, this case drives me insane. Good morning, Izzy. Normally, I don't run. Oh my gosh, Christina, thank you so much. She said, we support Madalina. Yes, we do. Normally, I don't run with the trafficking theory. I don't run with, trafficked out of the area. This case has got trafficking written all over it. Christina, thank you so much. That helps the channel so much. Christina said, and we support harmony. Yes, we do. There's too many child victims that get zero airtime. Kat and I were having a long discussion about that this morning. Madalina matters. And for some reason, not that I have a crystal ball, I believe she's out there somewhere. I'm going to get to it in a second and why I believe that. Let's take a second and welcome all of our friends. I hate words like followers. You don't follow me, you follow Jesus. Or you follow your dog when it's on a leash. I hate the whole sub. That's my sub. The only sub I have goes into my pie hole and I eat it. Christina, she said, we support Monkey and Family. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Christina. Whew, I got to write something down. Christina. You'll know why, Christina, because I have your address. I send out appreciation gifts once a month. So I wrote down Christina and I put in parentheses, Madam Secretary. It's an inside joke. That's how it goes. Let's take a second and tell everyone happy hump day. Let's start with that.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Happy hump day. And do you hear that sound? Listen. It's nothing. You know why? Because OJ is sleeping. OJ is sleeping. 7 Alibis said, thank you for saying that about subs. It always makes me feel like a subordinate. Yeah, subscribers, Come on. My followers. Let me tell you what, if you follow me, better get your goddamn head checked. All right, speaking of someone who doesn't need their head checked, that would be our friend Kat. She is here. She admins the group that we have on Facebook for Madalina Kojikari. We go way back. You see a lot of her graphics, a lot of her thumbnails. Let's take a second to say hi to our friend Kat, who is going to be running this whole show. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, hi everyone. Hi Brooks. Hi chat. Nice to see you. You're all friends, not subs or followers. We could consider you our friends.
Yeah, we're friends. You know, I hate that. Someone said that about, I heard it on another show. Somebody said, you have to watch this. And they were like, well, I've only got this many followers. And I'm like, who are you, Jesus?
Yeah, didn't they say, do not lead, I will not follow. Do not follow me, I won't lead. Just walk beside me and be my friend, or something like that.
Yeah. I've got this many followers. And I was like, what are you guys going to do next? Escalate it to disciple?
Yeah, all the sheeple. They need someone to follow. But yeah, we're not Jesus.
Let's do a poll in chat. What do you think Kat would do if I referred to her as a sub or a follower? She kicked my ass. B, would she just be like, fuck you? Or C, would we ever see her around here again? Answer for yourself.
And make sure you get the right answer. Getting the wrong answer could be really dangerous in this situation.
You notice there's no yes in there. Kat would be like, yes, I would follow you anywhere. I'm so proud to be your sub.
Yeah, I would bow down at your feet.
Did you just call me a subscriber?
Yeah, you're probably I ain't nobody's sheeple. F. Looking at some of the answers.
All of the above. If you're in Discord, you've seen Kat and I get at it. And people are like, I thought you guys were friends. Oh, we are. This will be over in a little bit. Lisa said that pay for Daisy's chat. Speaking of people, followers, and subs. Woo! Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. You guys are way too kind to me, way too kind to this channel. But again, you guys are the channel. Before we get to the comments, and you're going to recognize the comment video. It was made by one of my followers.
Careful.
Here we go.
Careful.
Let's take a second and tell our good friend Soulshine happy birthday. You're going to recognize this too, Kat.
I will.
Happy birthday to you, Soulshine. 52, but you don't look a day over 21. You must be using that same skincare regimen that Trevor uses. He goes from 25 to 21 to 19 to 17 on other channels. How do you all do it?
I think it's something to do with oil of Olay or something like that. Some kind of face cream that they're using. I need some.
I have a new face cream. If somebody asks me how old I am, I tell them 65. Not that 65 is old, but I'm 48. And they're like, really? They're like, really, you are? And so then I feel like death becomes her. You know, Meryl Streep. And I feel so much better about myself. It's
Chip
one
and
thing.
Tigger are good, thank you, Petunia.
I do hope you have a super birthday, Soulshine. Connie S says, I need a gallon. Well, when you go out, you just give people a different age, or really give them a trick and say, well, I just turned 18 last week. Honestly, the looks on people's faces, you can't replace it. All right, let's see the comments. What do you think, my friend?
Let's go for it.
Who made that comment intro I've been using for 2 years?
I was just thinking I might need to start making you some new videos to go up.
Oh, I love that one. Our friend Kat made that. I had this idea about showcasing comments and she made it, and I'm like, that's perfect. But then I was like, how do I load it into StreamYard? It has to be MP4. And she said, I can't remember what you said to me, but it was kind of like, for the millionth time, I've been trying to show you how to do it.
Oh, I had to convert the file. It was very complicated. I won't go into it now.
That's okay. That's okay. You do way too much. Corey Reef says, I love getting older. Hello, Tiffany. How are you, honey buns? All right. Shorty Loves says, I hope and pray she is still alive. Absolutely. But I feel like if she was still here, she would be trying to reach out for help at some point. She's old enough and smart enough to know that things aren't right. I feel like she's not with us anymore, and I hope I'm wrong. Her mother is giving off bad vibes to me. Both of them reek bad vibes. What do you think of that comment?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, I kind of still hope that she is still alive because, you know, realistically, she could be. Like you were saying earlier about the trafficking thing, it's not something that you go there very often with. But in this case, it really does seem like that. But then there's always the kind of downside of that being put out so much is that it kind of makes her in danger if the people or persons that have her think that she's getting too hot, if you know what I mean, then that might be bad news for Madalina. So I kind of just hope that she is still alive out there somewhere.
Oh, I 100% hope she is and pray she is. They are treating this case different than any I've ever seen. When they talk about T3 trafficking, that's
Right.
not something that's in my Rolodex, if you know what I mean. I'm old, okay,
Yeah.
so I still know the word Rolodex. The way the FBI is so heavily involved, you don't see, I mean, they're always in the background, don't get me wrong. Hell, they're in the background now. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not getting away from the FBI. But they're heavily, heavily involved in her case.
Yeah.
And it gives me hope.
Yeah, me too, I guess, in that respect. Like, even from the beginning, when the FBI on the missing poster and everything was like, contact your nearest local embassy and all of this kind of stuff, I was like, wow, we don't really see this with a lot of missing children's cases, not certainly any that I've really followed. So yeah, I kind of have hope that because they are so heavily involved, it does mean there is hope. And also, I mean, they've never really they've never spoken about her as if she's not alive like they have with other missing children. They've always seemed to have been more proactively looking for an alive child. That's how it feels to me. I don't know if they've used that wording particularly, but it just feels like they have hope at the moment. So I guess that's been a good sign to me.
I 100% agree because in the unsealed documents, when they said they actually have her on camera with a family member, now that family member was not Diana or Chris. I believe that family member was Octavian, and that was
I
in
think the reporter actually said that it was, I don't know if they did, but I know the reporter said that they believe that it's Octavian, which will be her only other blood relative, male blood relative in the United States, one would presume, because not a lot of her blood relatives live in the United States anyway, but he does. So they never confirmed that it was him, but it was in the documents.
No, I mean, I think it's just perceived to be Octavian, but I've never had a case before, as if it's my case, where a child is reported missing the month before, but there's an actual sighting of that child a
Yeah,
month later, and it's
later. Yeah,
confirmed
exactly.
by law enforcement.
Well, as well, don't forget that the area where that video was taken was about 45 minutes away from the mountain where Diana was spotted in a vehicle and spoken to around the same time period. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that she was around that area with Madalina at the time, which is possibly one of the reasons why she's still in jail and Chris isn't.
Yeah, they lowered his bond significantly, but not.
And they raised hers right
Yeah.
at the beginning when they raised her bail. That her bond was higher than his, and his is now lowered and he's out, and hers is still high and she's still in. To me, that pretty much says it all, really.
And so for her mother, who I don't know how the hell she's affording to be in America, because if her income is 30 US dollars in Moldova, how is she, I mean, I don't care unless even if she's sleeping in a tent on 30 bucks, she can't afford to live here.
You know how she afforded the flight over. It's not cheap to fly from there to America. Like, yeah, there's a lot that doesn't really make sense about her mother being in the United States right now.
From out of town
Apart
said
from the
no
fact that she
sign.
doesn't speak the language even. Go on.
And they have to get a translator for her. From out of
Right.
town says no signs or missing signs in Western North Carolina. I have not seen one. It's sad. They should be everywhere. With the FBI's heavy involvement in this, I'm surprised there's not billboards in a lot of places, considering there was an actual sighting of her a month after Diana said she went missing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is possible that, I mean, in my mind, it is possible that they're not wanting to raise too much public awareness of where she is, because I feel like the FBI might have a pretty good idea either where she is or who she's with and what's going on. And in some respects, they may be trying to keep it a little bit low key so that they can act on the information they have. Because didn't they say really early on they were investigating T3 trafficking or something in regards to this, which may just mean that they don't want to tip off too many people about what they know.
Oh, exactly. And I've never heard that term before. I mean, how would I? Yeah, T3
yeah,
trafficking
exactly,
has been mentioned several times,
yeah.
which tells me they believe she has been trafficked. But to where?
And with who?
Mm-hmm.
Because they've
Jane
never
Austen.
come out and said, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Sorry.
Finish your thought, babe.
I was just going to say that they've never come out and said, oh, well, we were investigating this T3 trafficking link, but we decided that that's not connected. Now, I know they probably wouldn't say that anyway, but it just seems like that's the angle that they've taken right from early days with this whole thing. That seems to be their angle where they're going with it.
Oh, it seems to be. We talk about missing children quite a bit, but I only know of one currently that the FBI on their website has their own video about.
Yeah.
And it's their words, not mine, saying T3 trafficking. I believe Octavian was already a trafficker because they said the phone number that they had went to a T3 trafficker, which is him.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Jane
isn't it
Austen.
really strange that it's him, and also that they believe they haven't confirmed it, but in the documents it says that they believe it was her and a male blood relative that was seen in that area a month later. And whose phone number have they got? His. It's all really very much pointing down to this being him and it being a trafficking situation.
%100%. Jane Austen says, "Dear all," now this is from our last show that Kat and I did about Madalina. She said, "Diana would never sell Maddie. God, enlighten the judges and the bloggers." I haven't blogged. Well, I've never blogged. What is this, the 90s?
I have a journal with a padlock. Does that count?
Is this the 90s? What blogger?
Dear diary. Okay, carry on.
And the bloggers. Diana is a mother, a good one. May God bless you all with his mercy. Thank you for that. Remember the golden rule of philosophy, dear speakers, and please do not forget that the powers that be in America are small babies. They are not old countries.
Oh, it was this 200-year baby American guy.
Now, what does the age of America have to do with any of this? That's like the 5th time I've been hit with that. That Serbian guy was up my ass for 5 days.
Yeah. 200-year baby America or something. Like,
yeah, like the
and
first
how does she know that Diana's a good mother? Like, unless she like is related to her in some way, shape, or form. She has no more information than anyone else.
Hell if I know. Like that one dude, Lurch or whatever his name was, he was like, "You know nothing about Europe. America is 200 baby." And I was like, 200? There's more than 200 people here. What are you talking about? And I'm like, "Where are you from, Lurch?" He's like, "I am Serbian Empire." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Well, I think I sent you some information about what happened to the Serbian Empire. It didn't end well for them. Let's just put it that way.
And to go through Diana, before Thanksgiving, Chris went to Michigan. Supposedly he was going to put some stuff in a storage unit, get some stuff out of a storage unit. He gets back and she's like, "Where's Madalina?" And he goes, "I don't know. Where's Madalina? Are you hiding her?" So I think he already knew something was up. And I'm not taking up for this dude because I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, no, I don't either, apart from the fact that he's not biologically related to Madalina. He's a stepfather who has a wife from Romania who also has a daughter that came with her. You know, we don't really know too much about Chris, apart from the fact that his family are in Michigan. Michigan? Michigan.
Yes. Yeah. So
he's out on bond.
And he's out on bond. Let's go to what the FBI has put out about Madalina. And as you know, it's the good old FBI. It's not much, but it's very telling and very important that they have this out.
The Cornelius Police Department, the FBI, and the SBI are searching for 11-year-old Madalina Kojikari. The Cornelius Police Department, located in Cornelius, North Carolina, learned Madalina was missing on December 15th, 2022. Captain Jennifer Thompson explains.
Our school resource officer and the school counselor tried several times to contact Madalina's mother due to a high number of absences. After agreeing to bring Madalina to school, Diana Kojikari showed up alone, saying she didn't know where her daughter was and hadn't seen her since November 23rd.
Her mother, Diana, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, are both charged with failure to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement. The investigation uncovered video of Madalina getting off the school bus on November the 21st. It's the last confirmed sighting of the 6th grader. Cornelius Police Captain Thompson.
Madalina is 4 feet, 10 inches tall and weighs 90 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. In a missing child investigation, every second counts. Unfortunately, in this case, it was more than 3 weeks before our department was notified she was missing. Despite being hampered by the timeline, we are doing everything possible to find her.
If you have information to help the investigators, call the Cornelius Police Department at 892-7773 or 1-800-CALL.
Or 1-800-CALL FBI. That is not
Right.
something that we see often. Mindy says, I'm about 20 minutes from her home. Locals have spoke out and said Chris was basically the primary caregiver. He was the one taking care of Madalina, not Diana. I don't know. I don't
So
know.
no, I don't either. I know that he loses business or something. He used to have like a printing business or something. He lost the business. But I don't know what she was doing for work or why she wasn't around taking care of Madalina.
She was selling Mary Kay, which nothing wrong with selling Mary Kay. I used to do it too. It brought in some extra money and I could, go to, these parties and stuff, when my husband would get home and watch the kids. But he was an engineer, but I think COVID hit and a lot of
Yeah.
people lost their jobs.
Yeah. But I mean, if she was doing that, then she wasn't exactly doing a full-time away from home job where she couldn't take care of her own daughter. So why was he doing the majority of the childcare?
I don't think it's so much childcare. It was just known that he was more of the parent around her.
Okay.
I mean, she can take care of herself. She's a big girl. She can get her own cereal. She can get herself to the bus. But back to the T3 trafficking while I have the FBI up here. Newly obtained search warrants reveal Madalina Kojikari's mother asked a distant relative if he'd help with smuggling her and get Madalina away. She also told him that she was in a bad relationship with her husband, Christopher Palmatier, and that she wanted a divorce. According to the warrants, phone records reviewed by the investigators revealed extensive communication on December 2nd, 2022 with that relative. Now, according to her, she hasn't seen her since before Thanksgiving, and we know when Turkey Day is. But she had a lot of conversations with this relative. I'm going to assume maybe it is, maybe it's not, Octavian, on December 2nd. That person's phone records revealed multiple calls to phone numbers belonging to unidentified targets involved in ongoing T3 trafficking investigations.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Kind of feels like a week or two after Thanksgiving and after the child's already disappeared but hasn't really been reported as missing yet. Diana's got a lot going on with this relative, right? And then she's seen in the mountains in the west of North Carolina. And then 45 minutes away from there is where they see a possible relative with a possible Madalina a month after. Altogether, it's really looking like Chris probably wasn't that involved in all of this.
No, because I don't think that he would reach out to Octavian December 2nd when I don't know what he was told when he got back from Michigan. But this
Well,
is
what
very.
he was told, where is Madalina? And he said, where's Madalina? And she said, are you hiding her? And he said, are you hiding her? That's what he was told, in my opinion. All he knew was what she'd said.
And they went back and forth like they were looking for the remote control. Have you seen her? Have you seen her?
Yeah. Did you hide her?
Did you hide her? Yeah. Did you hide her? Did you hide her? December 9th of 2022, Diana posted this to Facebook. It's a picture of herself in sunglasses, and it's a picture of Madalina in sunglasses. Now, I know some people thought it was very strange for me to pick out the sunglasses. Yes, I wear sunglasses. I take pictures in sunglasses. But the way she was posed was very odd to me and made me wonder. And Mama B was the same way. She came right out and said trafficking because of the posing of Madalina. It's almost like Diana wants to do another mail order bride with someone. And so it's a package deal.
Yeah, I look at a lot of the photos of Madalina around the time, like the year before or 6 months before she went missing. Mostly all of them have her with her hands up in the air, her arms above her head, and they're full-length body shots of her standing with her hands above her head, which to me was completely strange. And the rest of them, she's got sunglasses on. Like, there's so many photos of her with sunglasses on. And if you look at where they are in the background of this photo, it's dark. I mean, it's not like it's a really brightly lit place or anything. It's dark in the background. Why would you need sunglasses?
Yeah, they're in dim light. So why do they have sunglasses on? Christina said Chris's attorney said Diana would say, "I don't know," when she refused to answer a question.
Right.
Because Diana knows.
Exactly.
Diana knows.
Deflection.
Diana knows. The last time that Madalina was seen that we know of publicly, that we have video of, I know there's pictures from the gas station, is her getting off the school bus. To me, it seems like she was just didn't even know what she was walking into. Some people see something different, that she knew that once she got off that bus, there were other plans for her. But I want you guys to look at it and tell me what you think. Some people have picked out that everyone else is wearing hoodies, but and I mean, it gets hot on the bus. Okay. It gets hot on the bus. I don't think for a second that Diana is innocent. She's presumed innocent under the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
But it was picked out to me, if you look at how the other children are dressed, but she's not. Something.
Yeah, that's a good point. She seems to be wearing quite a thin top. Like, the others are all kind of overdressed. But it's November. Like, it's going to be cold when she gets off the bus.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find something. Give me a second. Bear with me. It's a live show.
I was going to ask you if you read the comment that was left under one of your videos about this video. And it said they don't believe that Madalina even got off the school bus at all. And the bus drove off with Madalina still on there. And the bus driver is the one that trafficked her.
Did Daisy leave that?
No, it was one. No, it wasn't Daisy, but it was somebody under the in your comments under one of the videos that you've done about Madalina before. I was like, oh, okay, we've just gone to a whole new level of like real conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, there was children behind her, and they're not missing.
Right, exactly. No.
Okay, this little girl.
Are,
oh, I know. I'll tell you what, solving crimes left and right. Thank God for them. This little girl on TikTok said, Madalina went to my school. It is suspicious, and she always wore a jacket as if she was hiding something. I feel her parents did something. She said, then this other girl said, oh my God, so sad. Another one said, I have friends who go to Bailey. So if she wore a jacket all the time, according to this little girl that went to school with her, why in this video getting off the bus does she not have it on?
I guess I don't know that she wore didn't wear a jacket all the time at school, but none of the photos of her outside of school have her wearing a jacket. So I don't know. I'm not saying that that person's lying or whatever, but I've never seen a photo of her wearing a jacket. There was a photo of her standing by a statue that she was holding a jacket and she had a t-shirt on, but none of the photos have her wearing jackets. That's all.
Extra AF said, looks like she's preening. Mindy said, Bailey is a very nice school as well. Oh, I can imagine it is.
It's a really nice neighborhood from what I've seen. I mean, I've never been there, but on Google Maps and stuff, it looks like a really nice neighborhood.
Well, and you know what? The simplest answer is usually the easiest. It could have just been damn hot on the bus. You get all those sweaty kids on there and you're driving down the road.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite possible that they just put that out there because that was literally the last time that they could verify 100% that she was seen. But yeah, I don't know. When I first watched that video, I did think she looked a bit anxious getting off the bus because she was fussing with her hair and stuff like that. But then I thought, probably if she was 11 years old or 12 years old, she's probably just fixing her hair before she got off the bus,
And that's what Summer Thunder just said. Madalina is fidgeting with her hair and looks worried. Mindy lives in the area. Mindy, would you want to come up and talk to us? Because she said the town she lived in is very upscale town.
Yeah, it'd be great if she wants to come up. Well, I do think sometimes in these cases, you do tend, I think, maybe not just you, not anyone particularly here, but you do, with hindsight, project things onto things that you see and think, oh, because she was fussing with her hair, did that make her anxious? Or I know that's what I thought originally. You have to kind of take a step back and say, well, is it just what it is? It's just that they're showing that she was getting off the bus. There's not really any kind of depth to it because you can project your own feelings onto a video in hindsight, I guess.
If I saw a picture of my child getting off the bus, I would know from my child's face, not that Diana's going to take the time. I'd say, no. Would never leave that hoodie, always wears that hoodie, would have it in his arm. If he's hot, I can tell by his complexion if he's hot, and that's why he took it off. But that's not what we're seeing. Because when you're hot and you're sweating, you look different than she does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe she didn't have a hoodie on that day when she went to school. Maybe she did wear a hoodie all the time. Maybe she didn't. We don't know. All we can say is by what we see. But by what we see is kind of marred in some respects by hindsight and the fact that we know that she's missing. And if we had seen that video of any other child in any other circumstance, we probably wouldn't have looked and thought, oh, she looks, anxious or upset or different or whatever. Because of what we know now, you kind of have a different perspective on the video, I guess.
Now that we know what we know. So it makes me wonder if when the day that a child disappears, if anything's out of the norm, you know me. I mean, I see red flags. I get very suspicious. Because if the kids at school are saying she never took off that jacket, but she's getting off the bus and all the other kids have on hoodies and jackets, they're not real good about heating the bus. So it's normally, kids are cold on there or chilly.
Yeah.
I don't mean they're freezing to death and have icicles hanging off their nose. So she's the only one getting off that doesn't have on a jacket or a hoodie.
Yeah, I do find that quite surprising, especially in November. Like if it was in the middle of July, I'd be like, all the other kids are wearing hoodies. That's really dumb of them because it's going to be hot on that bus. But it is November. There's, would be a good reason for her to be wearing a jacket or a sweater or whatever because it's November.
And since, my kids would wear shorts when it's 30 degrees, okay? But that's their normal pattern. That's their normal pattern.
Yeah.
But if it's not her normal pattern, because, I'm talking about Madalina, then maybe something was going on. Maybe she was extra anxious that day. Who knows what Diana told her? Because let's face
Yeah.
it, Diana's still in the pokey, and old step papa is out.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Why did Christopher get a lower bond? Let's not forget, even though people say that this is not true, they fell in love online, Diana Kojikari is a mail order bride. Okay, my friends? They met through a mail order bride service. He went to Romania. They fell in love after she lost some weight and everything. He brought her and Madalina over to North Carolina. He had a great job as an engineer, great house, great community, great neighborhood. My question is, before all this, why wasn't his bond lowered back in December?
Mm-hmm.
Did they just make him sit there and sweat it out? If he had all this information, why has he been sitting there like a dumbass since December?
Do they have the hearing where his bonds get lowered?
I got it on right now, my friend. What I want to know is, why was the judge, and from what I'm understanding, it's the same judge. Why
Right.
did the judge change his mind suddenly?
Maybe there was new information that came in.
Did he think that him and Diana were both going to get out and go find Madalina together? I don't understand it. It'll all come out, but it just, these things make my brain hurt.
5:30, the stepfather of a Cornelius girl missing since last year is now out of jail. Christopher Palmer was released from the Mecklenburg County Jail on Friday after posting bond. Authorities say Palmer and his wife Diana Kojikari, Madalina's mom, waited more than 3 weeks to report Madalina missing and was released from the.
Hang on. How does Christopher Palmatier have a better rack than me? Look at those perky titties. Oh my God.
You gotta love the moves, right?
What the hell is going on? If I walk out without a bra on, I look like National Geographic. I gotta roll them up. Look at him walking around with those suckers flapping in the wind. I'd love to have that rack, Chris. Call me. Woo!
You crack me up.
And the wind was hitting him a certain way. The turkey's done.
He's going to give himself a black eye if he jumps up and down too much.
Damn!
Oh, my
bitch! I'd be waxing those suckers if I was you, Chris.
Mecklenburg County Jail on Friday after posting bond. Authorities say Palmer and his wife Diana Kojikari, Madalina's mom, waited more than 3 weeks to report Madalina missing, and they only did so when school authorities started asking questions.
Okay, and this is very, very important. Nothing would have happened if the school did not press them on why is she not in school. So when people blame the school and say, well, the school didn't do anything, guess what? Your kids are allowed to get sick.
Yeah.
Your kids are allowed to go on vacation. Your kids are allowed to be out of school. But when they finally say, no, look, we need to see the child, I think this school did exactly what they were supposed to do. What do you think, Kat?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know how the systems work in America with schools and stuff like that. But what I do know is it's the parents' responsibility not to traffic their child. It's not the school's responsibility to find, to stop that from happening. The school did what the school had to do at the times, exactly when they had to do it. I don't think they did anything more or anything less than what they were supposed to do. And it's only but for the fact that the school got involved that we even know now that Madalina's missing. So anyone that wants to blame the school has got their eyes in the wrong place when it's come to this case, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
exactly. Extra AF said, thank goodness for the school. Exactly my point. Thank goodness they did get involved when they did, because otherwise we still wouldn't know, would we?
Absolutely, thank goodness, because had they not made contact and stayed on their asses, well, we would have another Harmony Montgomery situation now, wouldn't
Yep,
we?
absolutely.
RJ said hormones are funny that way. See, my hormones never work in my benefit, RJ. So when I see something like that, I absolutely have to call it out. Hormones
Yeah, I
have
don't know what
worked.
hormones he's taking, but I'll have some. I'll have some of those hormones.
They don't
It'd
ever
be
work
cheaper
in
than
my.
an implant.
No. I mean, I'm 48 years old. I have adult acne and gray hair. How does that happen?
You're not the only one.
Hang on, Mindy is backstage. Welcome, Mindy. How are you,
Hi,
my
Mindy.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've never done this before. I'm always on
Oh,
mute, but
nice
I've
to
never
see you.
actually jumped on panels. That was easy.
Yeah, there you go. It's nice to speak to you.
So yeah, I'm right at about 20 minutes away from that area. I will say that the area, it is very upscale. It's by one of the lakes here that is a
Yeah.
very well-known lake that people, often go to. So yeah, it's very, you know, more upscale. The school has always had a great reputation. I've had friends that actually have sent their kids to that school. So I agree, they definitely did their job, as far as, reporting her missing or whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I have some little insight about the town and, how things kind of around there. But other than that, so if you have any questions, I can answer.
Well, I mean, do you see a lot of flyers for Madalina
None,
in your area? Okay.
none.
Wow.
Have not seen a billboard. And there's a major interstate 85 that runs through like Charlotte, and then up through like Lake Norman and Cornelius. There's a major highway like 150, and I drive it frequently. I have not seen one billboard, one flyer, nothing. Now I know in the neighborhood there was flyers, when she went missing, and I don't know as of right now if they're still there, but I know that there were flyers, right around the neighborhood. But as far as like billboards, and no, nothing at all.
I know they said that they went to the mountain where they saw Diana. Around that area, they were giving out flyers and leaflets and going door to door and stuff like that to see if anyone else had any information in that area. But that was right over in the mountains in the west of North Carolina.
Yeah, that, and up there, like I've been to Sugar Mountain before. It's very, there's not, it's not neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's more, there's
Yeah,
just land
rural.
and yeah, very rural. So I haven't been up there lately, so I wouldn't know about like the, flyers and stuff up there. But
I only
that was,
heard that because it was on the news. It was on like one of
yes,
the news channels at the time
yeah,
that they were going around, sort of handing out flyers and leaflets and stuff. But like you say, it's so remote. It's kind of like how many people would have seen her anyway up
and
there.
that would be, in my opinion, that would be I mean, a great place to drop a kid off, or traffic, that kind of thing,
Right, right.
because of the location.
I mean, very kind of unlucky in, some kind of terms that Diana
Yeah,
was actually seen by a police officer who went
right.
over and spoke to her while she was in that area.
Yeah, that was a godsend, I do believe.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and now my husband, he was out in Asheville.
Uh-huh.
And on I-40, there is a billboard for Madalina.
Oh, well,
Now,
good.
Oh, really?
now Asheville and Cornelius are pretty far away from each
Yes.
other, are they not?
Yes.
So that kind of goes with the trafficking that they believe that
Right.
she moved out of the area.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That's more, towards the mountain. So I could, yeah, that would definitely make more sense.
Now, let me ask you, Mindy, what did your community think? What do you think? I'll start with you. You're in the hot seat. What did you think when they lowered Chris's bond significantly from $250,000 to $25K and he got out?
In my opinion, I think that he is talking, singing like a canary, as they say. I think
Oh, good
not
point.
necessarily that he knows stuff, but maybe he's cooperating. And I honestly, in my opinion, I don't think he had anything to do with this.
I think that's
I
actually a really
personally
good
don't
point.
think that.
He might not know exactly what happened on that day because
Exactly.
he wasn't there or whatever, but he damn well knows the background and the history and the,
Right.
surrounding days, even if he doesn't know what happened on that day. And even giving them that information could be something that allowed them to lower his bond and let him go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sharing phone records, all that stuff, and knowing that he had nothing, that, well, number one, he wasn't there, but like, she said Diana had said that he, in the relationship, that, she was scared of him or whatever, there might be
Yeah.
some, proof to back that up, that was not true, stuff like that. That's what in my opinion, that's how I feel about it.
No,
But he was also,
She's involved for sure.
I think she
Yeah.
came up with the old battered women's syndrome. And I'm not saying that women are not battered. I'm not saying there's not domestic violence, but it seems to be a crutch that some women use. Like, look, I'm just going to blame it on old boy and use the burning bed defense and say, look, he made me do it, or he's bigger
Right.
than me, or whatever. Because it is verified that after Madalina went missing, they were seen around Cornelius acting like they were
Yeah.
back on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always made me really sus.
Yeah.
In terms of whether they were both involved or not, because I was like, well, they were so unhappy and Madalina was there, and all of a sudden Madalina's not there and they're around and about like happy as the day is long. But then there must be some information, like you were saying, about his phone records and all of that kind of stuff, that they don't really believe that he had much to do with it. The thing that he's being prosecuted for right now is failing to report Madalina missing. Perhaps they know that he definitely did that because he didn't report her missing, but they don't have much else to hold him on. Whereas with her, they've got a ton of stuff, a ton of evidence against her, I'm guessing.
I agree.
And also, she was the biological parent. All things said and done, she was the one that was ultimately responsible for Madalina, because she is the biological mother.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing that kind of gets me, is that there had been a lot of talk about him being the one, like Madalina would be outside playing, he would be the one out there, or they would go to it was a local business owner had came out and spoke that they had went, that he had seen, or she had seen them together there, but never Diana. You know what I mean? So it kind of was like he was more the, the one that did stuff with her, publicly.
Yeah.
But I think I do think she was I think she was like secluded. I think she was kept away. Like, I don't think she had a lot of friends. Like, I mean, that age, I have kids. My youngest right now is 14, but like at that age, they, middle school, my kids had all kinds of friends, can I go to so and so, and I don't think life was like that for Madalina. I think she was very, sheltered, and I don't think she knew a lot about things going on in the world. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And I think a lot of it too is her background, and then just her mom, where they came from, and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of always really suspicious of that. Like, why? I don't really understand the whole mail order bride thing anyway. But if you were going to buy a person, which is pretty much trafficking in any other name, from another country to come and live with you, would you want a baby child to come as well? Like, that didn't seem like there was a very good reason for that to me personally, but maybe that was just me. I couldn't see any good reason why you would want that. But then you
And
know.
I'm really sus about this grandmother now. Like, I
Yeah.
heard you guys say, how'd she get here? Like, what the heck is going?
Right,
That
and
just
she's given all kinds of reports to the international press as well. She's
well, she
standing
gave
outside the courtroom saying that Christopher Parmenter was giving Madalina plastic surgery so that he could traffic her and she wouldn't be
yes,
recognised. That he was drugging Madalina and Diana regularly on a regular basis. And I mean,
but here's
literally, the things that the mother's been saying is absolutely batshit, in my opinion.
yeah. Well, didn't in the
Now,
beginning in the beginning did that grandmother that side of the family not come out and like write a letter like in the very
no,
beginning when she went
that was his
missing?
mother, or
I was hit. Okay,
uh,
so that wasn't her,
the
that wasn't
paternal.
Diana's.
No, that was the paternal grandmother. This is Diana's mother that's come out now, but originally it was Chris's family that wrote the letter.
Okay.
That was his side of the family. They're American, and then her mother is now in the US. When this
Yes.
all went to court the other day, was in the US talking to the national press in Romanian, so a lot of it has been translated
Yeah.
back into English, and obviously some of it's in press like the Sun, so you can't necessarily trust exactly that they
Well,
translated
they
it
did.
correctly. But yeah, all of this
th-
business about plastic surgery and him drugging her and Diana, and it was just all like, a lot of it just seems like she's been told stuff by Diana, sorry, and she's decided that that's the truth and she's going to feed it to the press.
Yeah, that's exactly
Anyone can
what it
repeat a
sounds like.
lie,
Yes.
because she's going to support Diana, isn't she? So, because she's Diana's mother. So, I mean, she's said all kinds of things, really, in terms of like saying that Diana said that Chris had a whole bag of money and all of that kind of stuff while she was in jail. She seems to believe everything that Diana says to be completely the truth, but in actual fact, a lot of it's probably nowhere near the truth.
Right. The local news. I will say the local news here does have on their website and on their news app. There's a special, like section for
Mm-hmm.
Madalina. And
Yeah.
when all this went down recently, and this grandmother came, they did the whole, write up and translated. Well, actually,
Right.
first they came out and couldn't get it translated, and then they got it translated and put it up. And it seems like she mentioned something about drugging, about giving her drugs or something.
Yeah, she reckons that Christopher was giving Madalina and Diana drugs. And
Yeah,
I mean, he was away. He was in Michigan for like 3 days. So
yeah.
how was he
I think
giving them
Diana
drugs
is telling
then?
her. I think
Yeah,
Diana is
that's
telling
exactly
her
what it is.
what she wants her to
Yeah,
relay to the
yeah,
press and the public. That's exactly what it is,
absolutely. I think you
in my
just
opinion.
hit that nail squarely on the head, because that's exactly what I think too.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had a question in here, what is T3 trafficking? Well, in America, we have something called a T visa, which means if you've been trafficked here, you can stay. They're not going to send you back to your country. It's a T visa. Octavian seemed to have people in his contacts in the T3. Now it's slowly adding up. Do you want to weigh in on that, Mindy?
Okay, so it is a he, correct?
Yeah, Octavian.
Octavian.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, well, my number one question with that particular person is why or have they not been arrested? I mean, wasn't there like he was involved in smuggling and all of that? Like, I don't know what to think about all that.
That's always the number one question in true crime. And the truth is, we don't know, because it takes a long time for them to get a probable cause. I mean, if I
Right.
was
Yeah.
the sheriff, everybody, including my husband and cat, would be in jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the similar-ish kind of situation in other cases where we know that there's been named suspects, that their pictures have been put out across the country, across the world, and those people have even spoken on YouTube channels and they're still free. even though they're considered to be a suspect in a serious like evil crime, they're still able to go on YouTube and talk to people. And sometimes
Right.
it's because they're in a different state, or they haven't got this piece of evidence or that piece of evidence. It just seems to us, I think, to take a lot of time to do something which, if we were in charge, we'd be like, well, you're arrested, and you're arrested, and none of you are going anywhere until you tell us what happened to X person. I wish it
Yeah.
was that like straightforward, because it would
Right.
probably put a lot of minds at rest.
And if they arrest
isn't.
him, they can't find Madalina because these
Right.
criminals don't talk in jail. It's
Right.
kind of like
Yeah.
these pedo rings. They want to find the spider in the middle of the web.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't
And when
they can wrangle up the perverts, but they want to know what's feeding them.
Right.
when they
Yeah.
said in that statement the unknown or unidentified persons involved in a T3 drug trafficking ring, that to me suggests that there's bigger fish that they want
Yeah.
rather than the kind of, and to me that's upsetting, because obviously it means that Madalina's the one that's kind of at risk the most, I guess. But it seems as though there's something with the FBI going on under the surface that we're probably not privy to, where there's someone much bigger involved that they need to find or catch or arrest or, disrupt for this to come to a head.
Yes, I agree with that. I will say here, in the local area, like I said, Cornelius is more of an upscale town, and that neighborhood was a nice neighborhood. We normally don't hear of a lot. Now, I say here because they don't tell us everything, but we don't hear of a lot of trafficking around here. But there are places locally that it has happened, and these interstates here, like 85. Going in, because 85 runs a long way. So does I-40, and there's a lot of rural land on I-40. So they're perfect areas, and interstates
Yeah.
for that kind of stuff. I know there's actually an outlet mall that is not far from me. And there has been, I'd say in the last 3 years, there's probably been 3 or 4 incidents of, children getting grabbed at that mall, with human trafficking.
Wow.
Yeah. So needless to say, if we go there, we go at certain times and my kids are, held on to, even at,
Oh,
14,
gotcha.
because you just don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not, I wouldn't say this area is like a super bad
Well
area for
known.
that kind of stuff, but it
Yeah. Well, as
definitely
well,
does
don't
happen.
forget that if this is what happened, I don't think they're even looking at that area as where it happened, because
Right,
they've got
right.
sightings of her over in the West Mountains, like where you were saying earlier. It's so
Exactly.
remote that kind of thing could go undetected, really. So I don't actually necessarily think it's even necessarily connected to that area in that respect.
Yeah, I agree. And in my opinion, I do feel like that is what happened. And I feel like, Diana cooked up the whole plan. That's just my personal opinion. Um,
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. And it's our opinion, and it's alleged. It's alleged.
yes.
Yep.
But we know that Madalina is missing. Octavian had contacts in T3 organization. Now, the FBI has different, and that's above my pay scale, my friends. You can look up anything on the computer, but you're not going to learn it till you go to their school. Okay. And
What you mean, Jennifer Coffindaffer can't teach us it? No.
oh, you still at Whataburger, my friend.
Yeah.
There's different classifications. Now, there's a T3 visa. That means if you were trafficked into the United States, they're not going to kick you out. That's what I was
Right.
explaining. And then there's a T3 that's basically age 12 and under. So there's different trafficking for what they're looking for. But it seems that Octavian knows the lingo and Diana knew how to call. That's what it looks like. She's in
Right.
jail. they're trying to find Octavian and Madalina, and old Chris is cleaning up the house, I guess. Let's see what they say about why his bond was reduced.
Yeah.
Diana remains in jail, charged with not reporting Madalina missing under a $250,000 bond.
Oh, Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Clive Rhodes joining us here now to discuss this case. So now we know Madalina right now is 12 years old. Both parents in this case were charged with failure to report her missing. But the big question right now is the stepfather had his bond lowered. The mother is still in jail. The stepfather is now out of jail. So how do we process all this? And why is Madalina's mother, not getting that same treatment?
Well, it's a couple of things. Every person that's charged with a crime in North Carolina has to be, their conditions for release are set based on that individual's ability. And so the judge has to make a determination based on the individual, not just the charge, but on that individual. And so first we have to look at the charge. Even though case has captivated the country and everyone is speaking about this, they're not charged with murder. They're not charged with an horrific crime. They're charged with failure to report. And we have to even go back even further. This is a relatively new charge. North Carolina just adopted this type of charge in 2013 in the wake of the Casey Anthony case. And so this case is the lowest level felony that we have in our state. Typically, a person would have received what the father just received after waiting 8 months to get out of jail.
Just correction, their stepfather.
$25,000 bond, not $200,000 bond.
Okay, so he's dumbing it down for us. This is the lowest level felony. They've reduced his bond significantly, and he's out, but she's still in. When she came in, her next hearing, they upped her bond.
Yep. And she's on the same low-level felony charge, in inverted commas, as he is, because they're both charged with the same thing. And yet her bond is still huge and she's still inside, and his bond is lowered and he's outside, and it's the same judge. So it's not like the judge was like, oh, well, you're both definitely responsible for this, but one of you's going to get out and the other one isn't. The same laws apply to both of them, even though they're two separate individuals. They reduced his bond and he's out. So there's got to be a reason for that. And 100%. I believe the reason is...
And the first thing when this hit, I looked at is it a different judge? Because judges make different decisions.
Same judge, isn't it?
Yes, that is true.
But it's the same judge. So obviously new
information... It goes on the individual. Yeah.
But obviously new information came out and they took it from $250,000 down to $25,000 and he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to have had information. There had to have been something that came back that, helped kind of not necessarily clear his name. You know what I'm saying? But clear him from being involved to that extent, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, they just said as well, like he would have got probably 8 months anyway for the charge, and he's done that in jail. So although he's out on bond, he pretty much served his time already. So they can't believe that there's too much more that they have suspicion-wise on him. And also he's possibly has provided them with information against her or against the case that's helped the case, that they've allowed him to have his bond so drastically reduced. Because she's not saying anything. She's just like public defender. She just answers questions like, yeah, whatever.
She says it in perfect English too. She seems to obviously know what she's talking about. And what's odd to me is, I mean, is Chris a cheapskate? Did he just not want to pay to get the 10%? Because his house isn't going to be foreclosed on or anything. So, I mean, what the hell's going on here? Now, what I think is going to happen with him getting out is I think something's going to break open in this case because they're going to keep her there. She's not going to talk.
She's not going to talk. It's not in her interest to talk.
That's something that you would see for a armed robbery, for a burglary case, for something that is violent crime. And so this I believe the bond was already something that was significantly outside of the scope for this type of charge. Regarding the mother, we don't know enough about what her background is, so I don't know if she has any prior history. But we can tell you from the stepfather's hearing, we know he had no criminal history. And so on our pretrial release scale, it has a scale that goes from 1 to 6. A 1 being that you have a very low history of crimes, and a 6 being that you have a high history of crime. A 1 being that you have a very low level of not appearing in court. A 6 being that you have a very high level of not appearing in court. He has a 1 and a 1. And so he would typically get an unsecured bond in a case like this. And so for it to even be for him to sit in jail for that long would be more of the issue.
The bond's got to be appropriate, basically. So Khalif, if you're a defense attorney and you had to choose between representing Diana Kojikari or Christopher Palmer, do you have a preference?
Well, and I tell clients this all the time. I don't pick every client that comes to me because it has to be a good fit. And so I'm really not looking at the facts, but I'm looking at an individual's ability to hear from me, the advice that I'm giving them, and for them to be honest with me. And so those are the standards that I'm looking at. But I guess the bigger question is, who do I think has the stronger defense? I think looking at everything that we know right now, it seems like the father has the best defense. They are investigating the mother for her text messages that she was sending and her phone calls that she was sending for folks that were under investigation for drug trafficking. And they made the allegations when they submitted the request to the warrant to the judge that those type of cases, people normally are also involved with human trafficking. They don't have that type of evidence against the stepfather.
All the shit was on her phone.
Absolutely.
Not
absolutely.
Christopher's. Is Christopher a good dude? I'm gonna say no, because he didn't take a second to hit 911 when he got back from Turkey Day and from Thanksgiving and say, I haven't seen my stepdaughter. And old girl won't say where she's at, but she's extra horny right now. She can't get enough of me. She's wanting to go back to our honeymoon. She's wanting us to walk around town and hold hands. Before, she wouldn't have anything to do with me. But everything came from her phone.
Yep. And like he just said it, what I was thinking earlier was that if they're the people that were on her phone that were connected to her phone that were connected to drug trafficking, and they're connected to human trafficking as well, because it's all part of it. It's part of the same thing. It wasn't Chris who had those connections, it was her.
Exactly. Listen to this again. It's very important.
Sending for folks that were under investigation for drug trafficking. And they made the allegations when they submitted the request to the warrant to the judge that those type of cases, people normally are also involved with human trafficking. They don't have that type of evidence against the stepfather. And so for me, I think he has the stronger defense. And I think she has the case that's going to be the harder one to disprove.
So many more questions that we'd love to be able to talk about. We ran out of time, right? Khalif Rhodes, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yes.
And again, why we talk about true crime on YouTube, because when the media says we're running out of time, we don't have good advertisers for this case or that case. Well, guess what? I got time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. I really feel that that's a lot of the reason that his bond was lowered is because of the phones and her connection, what they found on her phone, and there was nothing on his phone. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree.
But I can't understand, and I just can't understand how a mother cannot, like, it. It just baffles me. I'm like, is she thinking she's helping her daughter, or is she just trying to portray it that way? Or does she really inside her mind think that she's doing the right thing? Because I just can't understand that. And the other issue that I kind of was thinking about was, I know in North Carolina that they're pretty strict with the whole school, attendance laws. And which I know this charge is way bigger, but I was wondering why they weren't charged with her, or at least the mother not charged with her not being at school, the school attendance law, because that's jail time as well.
I
Yeah,
think
like
what's going to
like
happen,
5 whole days. They're not going to put you away forever.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
but they're going to stack charges on her, I believe. I don't believe that she's just going to be in jail for a few months for not reporting her missing. I think they're going to stack charges as the evidence comes in. I don't think she's going anywhere very quickly.
I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon, for sure.
I mean, when all's said and done, if they find Madalina, they could deport her without, too many issues. She could spend her time in a Romanian jail. She'd hate that.
Yeah, she would hate that, for sure.
okay, I hate to interrupt the show, but can some of the mod in here help me? Who is timing out people and who's deleting messages? We don't do that around here. If there's a problem, I'm going to address it. So what is going on? P's got timed out. April got timed out. I mean, all April said was his tech background is impressive. Pease was talking about coin pusher. She's our coin pusher captain of the Olympic team. So we have to be really careful if we're going to moderate. Just because you have, just because someone has a wrench doesn't mean you can just sit in the background and do something. I'm not saying that's what's going on. I got to get a hold of Slim. We'll figure it out. It's okay. It's happened before. It's nothing personal. These things happen. All right, let's talk about the unsealed documents. And that makes for a real messy show and takes away from the victims when I have to stop the show to say, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? It's no one's fault. It's an accident. These things happen. But, it throws my groove off. Okay. Right, Kat?
Yeah, I kind of I didn't actually even have chat open, but yeah, that's probably not a distraction that you really needed.
It's okay. It happens. So let's go through the unsealed documents.
The disappearance of 12-year-old Madalina Kojikari. The Mecklenburg County court system releasing newly unsealed documents that could provide more clues into what happened to Madalina. It's been nearly 8 months since the Cornelius girl was last seen publicly getting off of a school bus. Both Madalina's mother, Diana Kojikari, this was actually the last video of her seen publicly, but her mother, Diana Kojikari, and her stepfather, Christopher Palmer, they have been arrested and they've been in jail since December for failing to report her disappearance. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre live in Uptown. So Jesse, after combing through dozens of search warrants, what can you tell us? Did this reveal anything that will help us, I'm hoping, get closer to finding Madalina?
Well, it definitely revealed several new details. We're talking about 200 pages of documents, and there are several things that stick out. We're talking about recorded phone conversations in jail, finance records looked into, as well as evidence seized from the home, and details on when Madalina was last with her mother. There were also conversations surrounding the idea that Madalina was given away for money.
In police work, all you can do is sift through every piece of evidence, and hopefully it leads you to something that leads you to something else, and so you can conclude what happened to the child.
Where is Madalina Kojikari? That is the question. The Cornelius girl was last seen leaving the school bus on November 21st, but it took weeks before her parents reported her missing. Here's what we can add to the timeline after several search warrants were unsealed. In a text message on December 2nd, Madalina's mother, Diana Kojikari, indicated that she was with her daughter.
Okay, we know December 2nd she was not. Mm-hmm. We know she was not because she said because she said she hasn't seen her since before Thanksgiving. But right. She said she saw her on December 2nd. Now, we know in other cases when people use Facebook or any social media to try to prove their point, this picture of her and Madalina on December 9th raises concern because what we were told, she hasn't been seen since November.
And sorry, just quickly on that photo, not one of them is wearing a jacket, considering it was December the 9th.
Exactly.
They're both in T-shirts.
But you have to remember, it is warmer in North Carolina.
Is it in December?
Yeah. Hell, we were grilling steaks a couple of years ago on Christmas. It was 78 degrees.
Oh, don't make me too jealous. So yeah. Okay, fair enough. I'm not from there. I've never been there. I wouldn't be able to tell. It just seems a bit strange that this child that would wear a jacket every single day at school, who wasn't wearing one on the school bus in November, and everyone else was wearing a T-shirt on December the 3rd.
That's exactly. I'm so glad you said that, because a couple of weeks before. But I tell you what, when you have that jet stream, you never know. It could have. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say the weather is crazy. I completely agree with that. It can be, it just depends on, the jet stream, whatever. But I do know that my kids wear hoodies, jackets to school every day. They say it's freezing in the school. So they always wear, my kids walk around the house in hoodies. You know what I'm saying? So that is very, very strange. And do we know where that picture was taken of her and Diana? That last picture you showed? We don't know what area.
Well, I was hoping, you being local, you could screenshot it and look and let us know, because I'm not going to know. I'm not from North Carolina.
Can anyone do like a reverse image search on it or anything? Because the thing is, as well, that photo A may not have been taken in America, B may not have been taken on the 9th of December, and C could be, anywhere in the world, really. It was just happened to be posted on that day, but it doesn't mean it was taken on that day from that area or anything. It's been a forged alibi in that respect.
Yes, I agree.
I want to know who's taking the picture, because you can see reflections in the sunglasses.
It looks a bit like a selfie. She's holding a phone up with one hand, taking a photo of themselves like a selfie.
Hello, Pinto. Glad you're back.
Hey, Pinto.
And that's the thing. You never know in certain states. Like, it can be hot as hell one day and you're sweating your moobs off. And the next day, you're like, oh, damn, I got to get a jacket.
Yeah, it's one good thing about living in the UK. At least you know it's always going to be cold and raining. You don't have to worry about it.
Extra AF said in Louisiana, it's been 80 on Christmas before. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago here. All right, so the text messages, December 2nd. Let's start with this.
And after several search warrants were unsealed. In a text message on December 2nd, Madalina's mother, Diana Kojakari, indicated that she was with her daughter. The next day, December 3rd, Diana was seen at a service station in Hickory, getting an oil change. The attendant told police there were children's toys in the car, but did not see a child around. On December 4th, Diana traveled towards North Carolina mountains, claiming to be searching for Madalina. And on December 16, Sugar Mountain Police Department.
My question is, Chris was home. Chris was home at this time. He got home after Thanksgiving weekend. So where was Madalina? She had to be somewhere before she started all this.
They were burning junk in their backyard, right? A sofa or something.
Yeah,
a couch.
A couch, yeah. Sorry, I use the American term. A couch in their backyard. So at some point they were having a bonfire in their back garden as well. For like a week or something. It went on for like a week. So if Diana was with Madalina on December the 2nd, how did Chris not know where she was when he got back home from Michigan after Thanksgiving?
He said, "Where's Madalina?" She said, "I don't know. Where's Madalina?" And that's all she kept saying. I don't know. I don't know. Well, are you hiding her? Which is a strange thing to ask. So then she starts her movements in early December. That's how it seems to me, but they're going to have to piece all this together.
I think she was she gave Madalina, or whatever happened with Madalina, to say her cousin or whoever he is before Thanksgiving or during Thanksgiving, and then possibly went to meet up with them at this time. Who was she messaging? Who was she texting on December the 2nd, where she said she was with Madalina?
I'm going to guess the person that she gave her to, Octavian.
Yeah.
Because he was mentioned in court.
Yep.
Well, and the other question I have about that is what when the oil change and the attendant says that there were toys in the car, children's toys. Does that not seem odd? Why?
Well, yeah.
Like an 11-year-old girl in today's world to have children's toys.
Yeah,
That
in the
kind of threw
car
me
as
off.
well.
Like maybe an iPad, or you know what, you get where I'm coming from. Like that statement just really threw me off. Like children's toys.
Yeah.
I thought it was very strange that there was children's toys in the car as well, because Madalina, I'm just going to assume that she's past the Care Bear stage.
Yes. Yes.
But this timeline is really important. So when he went to Michigan and he came back, Madalina was already gone. But she starts running these kind of strange, very strange errands, basically, taking these weird trips. She had the text messages on December 2nd. Then she decides to go to a random mountain. And I say random because the bitch has never been there before, December 4th, to look for Madalina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mountain which happens to be about 45 minutes away from the mountain where they presume Madalina and her blood relative was seen a few days later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other side of their state as well, not just like, you know, in the next town along looking for Madalina, but in the other side of your whole state, in the mountains, you're looking randomly for Madalina there, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense at all.
None.
Do you think there's a possibility that, because this was all before Madalina was even discovered or reported missing by the school, all of these dates were like before then, do you think that she eventually, after a couple of days, told Chris, oh, she's just staying with a relative, I'll go and get her, and then went off on these missions? Maybe on December the 2nd, she texted him and said, oh yeah, no, I've picked Madalina up, everything's fine. And then she progresses on to these other things to kind of finalize things with whoever in the mountains.
Yeah, because she went in person. I agree with you 100%, because on December 2nd, she's blowing up the phone. You're telling me that her daughter's been missing since before November.
Yeah.
He starts getting into a panic on December 2nd, and then she goes to Sugar Mountain on December 4th. No, she had to have an in-person meeting with someone. Her mother talked about a lot of money that was taken out of the ATM.
Yep. Yeah, and then she told her mother as well that Chris had a whole bag of money.
Mm-hmm.
And provided surveillance photos of a man and a young girl. The man's images were physically consistent with the appearance of a family member of Diana, the only blood relative known to live in the U.S., and the young girl appeared to be Madalina.
I think that's the biggest thing, and I would certainly be interviewing that person, looking for other camera video of who he was with that day.
The search warrants also revealed more details from recorded phone calls in jail. Diana discussed a bag of money with her mother, cash withdrawals, and she also told her mother she believed her husband, Madalina's stepfather, Christopher Palmer, gave Madalina away for money.
Okay. Grandma needs to slow her roll. She is recorded in these phone calls listening to Diana's load of bullshit. A big
Yeah.
bag of money. What is this? No Country for Old Men? What do? You watch Coen Brothers movies?
But you can tell that they had these conversations because these are exactly the kinds of things that the mother is now saying to the press as fact. She's telling the press that this is what happened to Madalina, and the press are printing it and reporting it because the not her mother, the grandmother is saying these things. And that's exactly where it's come from, is these recorded conversations that they've had from jail.
So the grandmother is obviously believing Diana. We can
Yeah,
see
of
that from a
course.
mile away. We'll get to grandma here in a
Yeah.
second. Let me tell you, I've never seen my husband with a big bag of money.
Swag written on the side, like a Tom and Jerry cartoon or something.
And most people are limited by how much they can take out of the ATM. You have to call the bank and say, no, I need this upped because I need this much cash. They want you to go into the bank and get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So old grandma doesn't know how it works around here.
In recorded conversations between Palmer, his brother, and his sister-in-law, he mentioned that Diana had a lot of cash with her, and he did not know where it came from. He also shared some concerns about financial stuff coming up. Law enforcement expert Dr. Roy Taylor says all inmates do know their communications are monitored.
I don't know if it's a effort on both their parts to deny their involvement, and they are both involved, or one's telling the truth and one isn't. And again, it's just going to be a matter of time and looking at the financial records.
Now, banking and credit card documents were also seized. Police looking into any patterns or activity that may link back to Madalina's disappearance. Now, we also learned that the stepfather was housed with an informant in jail. We'll have more on that coming up at 6.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, and it's
I'd forgotten about that.
Really strange. They do that in jail quite a bit. They did it with Henry Dinkins. He's on trial right now for Breasia Terrell's murder. And they had a criminal informant in the jail with him, and they know how to grease them. They know how to talk. They know how to get information out of them. So this informant's going to be big.
Yeah.
Yes,
but that might be as well part of the reason why he's out.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's get to grandma. Let me ask everybody who's been following this case. I know not everyone has. Do you think grandma is part of it? Because don't think it hasn't crossed my mind. Or do you think she really
Grandma.
Diana's mother?
Oh, well, I mean, if it's something to do with Octavian, then Octavian is her family too, right?
Or do you think that she honestly believes Diana about the big bag of money and the abusive relationship? Because she has a lot to say. And when they were building on to their home, I was under the impression, because I believe everything I read on the internet, that that was supposed to be for Diana's family to come over and live there. I don't know. You guys tell me, because what grandma is saying sounds like a Jason Bourne movie. It truly does. Sonia Allen, here we go. She said, I think grandma knows where Madalina is. True Crime Beat said, I think she's believing Diana. Tam says, not sure. She seems sus. Lockdown with April C said, yes, anything over 10 grand in the bank has to order it 3 days ahead of time. I don't know what bank you use, but if I want to take out my savings, I can go get it right now and take it to another bank. I can get a cashier's check. I don't know what bank you use. All right, let's look at Grandma.
The parents of Madalina Kojikari appeared in court today. And here are the two big developments. The missing girl's mother, Diana Kojikari, and stepfather, Christopher Palmater, both entered a not guilty plea. The judge also lowered Palmater's bond to $25,000. Well, thanks for staying with us at 5. I'm Alicia Barnes. Family members for both parents were also in the courtroom today.
Now, hang on.
Girl's mother, Diana Kojikari, and stepfather, Christopher Palmater, both entered a not guilty plea. The judge.
Of course he did. Nobody walks in and sees the judge and says, I'm guilty. They wait for justice to go through. Of course. It's never a surprise. And when people say, the nerve of them pleading not guilty, well, what do you want to plead guilty to? The lesser charge or the bigger charge? Of course they plead not guilty. Are you there, Mindy?
Yes, sorry. I'm gonna have to hop down. My son keeps texting me. I'm sorry. I gotta call my son real quick. So thank you for having me come up. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime, hun.
Yes, thank
It's
you.
good to have you. Don't be a stranger. You old stranger. Don't be an old stranger.
Also lowered Palmater's bond to $25,000. Well, thanks.
Okay, I had to replay that because I thought she said $12,000, and I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I've been reading 25. Sorry about that.
For staying with us at 5. I'm Alicia Barnes. Family members for both parents were also in the courtroom today. Queen City News anchor Robin Kennedy live outside the courthouse. Robin, you spoke with Madalina's grandmother. So what did she have to say?
Alicia, Madalina Kojikari's grandmother made some pretty explosive comments today. She says she strongly believes her granddaughter was kidnapped and sold to human traffickers.
And is it your intention to plead not guilty and proceed to trial?
Yes. Diana Kojikari pleads not guilty to a felony charge of not reporting her daughter, Madalina Kojikari, missing. Diana is still in jail on a $250,000 bond, but her husband, Christopher Palmater, who has the same charge, could get out. A judge reduced his bond Thursday to $25,000. Their daughter was last seen last November getting off her school bus. She's been missing now for almost 9 months. Cornelius police said early on neither of her parents had been cooperative in helping with the investigation.
And that is huge. And this is what doesn't add up for me. Not that I'm a trafficker, okay? But if I want to buy something and I walk up to the counter, I'm the one that pays the money, not the other way around. You see, when I have my groceries up on the conveyor belt, they don't say, oh, you bought $200 in groceries, so I'm going to pay you $200. No, I pay them. So why would there be a big bag of money from Christopher Palmater, and why is she taking money out of the ATM? They can easily follow the money.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that's partly what the FBI are actually doing involved in the case.
The FDIC only insures a certain amount. Yeah, 100,000 per bank. Pinto said, good point. Yep. Lockdown with April C. Your time here is almost done. I heard about what you were up to. Now, I've heard about your, everyone can have an opinion and everything like that, but you really need to slow your roll when you come to this neighborhood, okay? I don't do things like other channels.
Rodica Kojakari, Diana's mother and Madalina's grandmother, was in court Thursday and spoke with Queen City News outside the courthouse. A native Russian translator provided a transcript to Queen City News.
Мои дети попали у трафикантов для детей. Моя внучка живая, ее продали вместе с Дианой за $5 миллионов.
Rodica says she wants to take her daughter and granddaughter back to her homeland of Moldova in Eastern Europe because she feels they're in danger in the United States.
Воровать твоего ребенка, не дай бог, или ваших детей.
Okay. Great yellow dress and great hat. But here's the thing. How do we know she's not involved in this?
Right. She seems to know quite a lot of information, considering she claims not to know where Madalina is.
Mm-hmm.
And she says they were sold for $5 million. Well, Diana's in jail, so she wasn't sold to the jail for $5 million, was she?
Nope.
Who was she sold to? She don't even make sense. Not even when it's been translated does it make any sense.
Not at all. And if we look at the flyer on the screen, contact the embassy or the FBI.
Or the consulate, exactly.
Yeah, you go missing in Oklahoma, they don't say contact the consulate.
Right.
No.
She seems to be lumping Diana in as much of a victim as Madalina, but in actual fact, in my opinion, Diana isn't a victim. Madalina's the victim. So what danger Diana is in is going to jail for the rest of her life if they put something bigger on her than failing to report Madalina missing. That's the danger that she's in. She's not in danger from anybody except for the fact that she's put herself in jail for a really long time by selling her daughter into trafficking, in my opinion.
And where did she get the round number of $5 million?
$5 million, exactly.
Okay. I'll sell my own ass for $5 million. No offense to anyone.
But if Christopher Parmenter had $5 million, he would have got himself out of jail a hell of a lot longer ago than waiting 8 months to have his bond reduced to $25,000. He would have paid for himself to get out of jail like a long time ago, right?
Yeah. So if they're sitting on $5 million, none of this would be a problem. They'd both be out. Makes you wonder what the hell grandma's up to. $5 million? Anybody want to buy me for $5 million?
Hell. As well, I believe as well that she is saying what Diana has told her. So if Diana's told her, oh, he sold us for $5 million, then she's going to go and say that to the rest of the world, isn't she? Because, oh, my daughter always tells the truth and I believe everything she says, and she was sold for $5 million.
What a round number. $5 million.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. I don't believe it at all.
Bree
but, you know, like you always say, the criminals always lie, right?
Say it again, sorry.
The criminals always lie.
Yeah.
So, of course, she's told her mum that.
Where Summer 800 TBI finds that I believe Grandma is 100% involved myself. She's got too much going on. Way too much. Yeah. Christina said Greg is rubbing his hands. Just me? DP? Where are you? Oh, look at this. We have Taker, Bree McGee. I'll buy you for $10 million, Brooks. Well, look at that. Where's my husband? My cat goes too, and I have to be back in time for dinner.
Моя внучка живая. Ее продали вместе с Дианой за $5 миллионов.
Rodica says she wants to take her daughter and granddaughter back to her homeland of Moldova in Eastern Europe because she feels they're in danger in the United States.
Воровать твоего ребенка, не дай бог, или ваших детей. Надо их побыстрее остановить, эту банду.
Do you recognize this language, Kat?
It's not the native tongue of the UK, but I think it's somewhere around Romania, Moldova way, a little bit further east. But yeah, Google Translate is possibly your friend in this situation.
I'm picking up some of it because they're transcribing it up there.
Yeah.
Это настоящая банда. Понимаете? Настоящая банда.
Okay, let's go back to what old grandma's saying. My children were caught up by child traffickers. My granddaughter is alive. She was sold along with Diana for $5 million. Did Diana's in jail?
Yeah. And how does she know this? Like, it's really specific, isn't it? It's like, I know specifically they were caught up by child traffickers. I know specifically my granddaughter is alive, and I know specifically she was sold for $5 million. Well, then how the hell do you not specifically know where she is and go specifically find her?
Yeah. Now, he did not child traffic her. They met through a mail order bride type of thing.
Yeah.
He flew to Romania, learned the mother tongue, and brought her back to the U.S. and married her.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what happens. I can't get traffic today.
Love me, love my cat, right?
Rodica says she wants to take her daughter and granddaughter back to her homeland of Moldova in Eastern Europe because she feels they're in danger in the United States.
Воровать твоего ребенка.
A message to Madalina that I love her very much, very much. Madalina and Diana, I love them very much.
Не дай бог, или ваших детей. Надо их побыстрее остановить, эту банду. Это настоящая банда. Понимаете? Настоящая банда. Их надо остановить. Всего 15 человек.
My Diana is a teacher and a translator of Russian, Romanian, English languages. She's an educated child. Both Kojikari's Diana and Kojikari's Madeline. Why is it K Kojikari and not C? Is that just how the translator did it?
Yeah, possibly. And also they have their names back to front, don't they? They always put their surname first. Yeah, maybe it's just a lost in translation thing.
I'm wondering if Grandma didn't sell Diana. And
well, it makes you wonder where the $5 million has gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, she was sold for $5 million. Well, does that mean that the grandmother has $5 million then? Who did they buy Diana from in the first place? Who got the money? You're not telling me it all went to a mail order bride agency. Someone got $5 million for Diana, did they not? If that's the case. So did grandma get it? Is that how she's managing to afford to live in America while this is all going on?
Snazzy, thank you for the super sticker, says turn grandma and stepdad loose in a room together with cameras rolling. That's what I want to see. Because they're blaming him for everything, but he's the one that's out on bond. If she's got $5 million, or they're sitting on $5 million, then get Diana out of jail. Correct?
Yep, absolutely. Oh, battery's low. I'm going to have to come off the earbuds.
Lone Wolf, thank you for the super sticker, said the grandmother is a key player and she saved the federal government extradition paperwork, red tape, and money by coming to the U.S. But she doesn't live here. I want to know how she's affording to live here. Diana's not a naturalized citizen.
No. Who took the money for the $5 million? Who's got the $5 million then?
I have a feeling there's no $5 million.
No, I've got a feeling there isn't either. But if she's going to go around making statements like that, she better have something to back it up, really. She's making herself look like a recipient of human trafficking money at this point.
Я знаю только 5 из них. А остальные 10 я не знаю. И я считаю, что Мадалина находится у этого человека, усатого, вот такого полного человека, 63-летнего возраста. Мадалина у него там находится. Я так думаю.
We asked Cornelius police to respond to Rodica's allegations that Madalina was kidnapped and sold. They tell us, quote, we are considering
all aspects of this investigation, and we will continue to investigate any and all leads that will help us find Madalina. Well, that's kind of a closet answer for every police department in America.
Yeah.
Everything's on the table. We're considering everything. You're never going to see a police department go, good idea. I'm going to look at that.
I tell you what, why don't we do some kind of investigation? That'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be great. Let me get on YouTube and find this shit.
In all aspects of this investigation, and we will continue to investigate any and all leads that will help us find Madalina. Madalina's grandmother also tells us she's hopeful the FBI will help catch the people she believes kidnapped her granddaughter. I'm live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Robin Kennedy, Queen City News.
Well, wait, how does she now think they were kidnapped when she just said they were sold for $5 million? So how were they kidnapped?
Yeah, there's a difference between kidnapping, trafficked, abducted, familial trafficking, familial kidnapping. I mean, there's classifications for a reason.
Right. You can't in one breath say, oh, I believe that they were sold for $5 million, and the next breath say they were kidnapped, because that kind of suggests that they're going to be sold back for a ransom or held to ransom or something. I mean, okay, it might just be like semantics in terms of language or whatever, but she seems to be throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall right about now, does Grandma?
A lot, and nothing's sticking.
Nope.
Only thing that's sticking is with the judge, because Christopher's out. Again, not saying he's a good guy, because he didn't seem to have a second to call 911 and say, can someone figure out where my stepdaughter is?
Yeah, but he's also not living with $5 million, is he? Because he would have got himself out of jail a hell of a lot longer ago than now. If you have $5 million.
I think Diana came to America and figured out a way to make money to get her family over here. And her biggest asset was Madalina. That is my opinion, and that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. I mean, the fact that he was even building an extension onto the house where presumably the family were going to come over and live there as well. I mean, even the grandmother seems to be taking full advantage of the fact that she can be in the United States of America supporting her daughter, considering she believes they're in such grave danger. She's quite happy to appear and stand in front of the international press and speak about them, considering they're in such grave danger, according to her. Not the smartest thing to do, is it?
No. And we have swearing in ceremonies every damn day to become a naturalized citizen. You know, you learn English, which wouldn't be hard for you, Kat, but you speak the Queen's language, right? Yours is more proper than mine. Mine's a little more broken. You know, you have to learn American history, things like that. Why didn't she do that? She's been here long enough.
But in some respects, what better way to get your family over to the United States than for your daughter to be missing? I mean, the grandmother seems to be taking full advantage of that, if you ask me. Because how does she afford to get to the United States?
I wouldn't be surprised if the FBI didn't bring her over.
Maybe,
it's
yeah.
much easier. I mean, a plane ticket from Moldova over to North Carolina is cheaper than taking a bunch of agents over there and
Yeah.
sitting there with her for her to go, oh, $5 million. He had a big bag of money. It's
Yeah,
much
that's true.
easier to watch old grandma over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think if you seriously believed that your daughter and granddaughter were in that much grave danger that you'd go in front of the international media and call out your host country for putting them in grave danger. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, considering Diana was on that channel talking about how she has to lose weight to find a
Yeah.
husband and everything,
Yeah.
sounds like grandma's behind a lot. She's Moldova's Billy Joe Howell.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. That's exactly what it is.
And nobody flew her over here. The good old US of A did it to get her over here. So who knows what's going on in that jail cell?
Yeah.
You know, and Diana's drug charges were dropped. So why would you do that when she supposedly found fentanyl in her shower?
Mm. Yeah, I think there's possibly a bigger fish to fry in this situation, was probably why they dropped the drug charges. Because like Mindy was saying earlier, they could prosecute her for keeping Madalina out of school, for example, but that's not the charge they want either.
No.
They possibly will stack these charges. They dismissed the drug charge without prejudice, so it's possible that they'll stack them at a later date, but there's something else going on that there's a bigger charge that they want to hit her with first, I think.
And it's so important that you said that. It's without prejudice.
Yeah.
Just because they dropped him doesn't mean that she didn't find fentanyl and take it to her cell, up her asshole into her cell.
Right.
They dropped it for now. They're like, I'm just going to put that to the side. I'm not going to deal with that file right now. And going to work on Madalina. That's it. But I tell you what, every one of these mothers, these soulless mothers, and the list continues, all have the same damn eyes. Look at this video.
Oh, yeah.
And the list goes on and on. Now, I'm not saying that Madalina was murdered, but she hasn't been seen.
Yeah, that gives me chills.
A long time.
Yeah, it gives me proper chills, that video. Every time I see it, it freaks me out.
Yeah, I need to add that. You know, I have iMovie on my computer, Kat.
Do you?
Yeah, I made that myself.
Oh, I'm very impressed. I didn't actually know that. I'm not just being sarcastic. I actually think it's a pretty good video.
Well, it probably needs some sprucing up, but that's all right. OJ and I'll work on it later. But I appreciate everyone being here for Madalina. Again, I say it all the time because I know we don't talk about cases on here that are the rave of the YouTube streets. You see, I don't do gaming, so I don't have a Minecraft channel. I'm not a very good cook. I can cook a lot, but I'm no chef. All right. I'm not a very good gardener, so you're not going to see me out there telling you how to grow the perfect radishes. And I know when it comes to true crime, I know what people really are following. I get it. I get it. And the internet's a big place. But knowing that our friends are here and they continue to follow cases like Harvey Montgomery, Madalina Kojakari, and they hang in and they go through these things means the world to me.
Yeah, thanks, Brooks. And I think like you do the cases that actually have heart and soul that really matter. You talk about the people that don't have anyone talking up for them, and I think that's why people come back, because they know that you've got a heart for it. So thank you for that. It's really important to me.
Well, it's important to the victims, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important to the victims. It's that it is what it is.
Absolutely.
I go back to the show on Friday, and I was thinking about your comment when I was talking about the Cleveland kidnapping and how Ariel Castro had Amanda and Gina and said, you know, oh, your family's looking for you. And he would bring back flyers and give them to them. But he would tell Michelle, no one's looking for you.
Yeah.
You don't ever be, you don't never, excuse me, you never want to be the one not looking for a child.
Yeah, absolutely. And I followed that case from the UK when I didn't follow it as it was going on, because I didn't know about it. But as soon as it broke and they were rescuing the girls and stuff, and it was all over the news here. And I remember following the case after that and finding out that that girl's mother had basically just abandoned her to her fate, you know, not looking for her and all of that kind of thing. So during the show that you did on Friday, I was really keen to kind of think about that, because I remember it as it happened. And yeah, my thoughts went to Summer, and I was just like, do you know, if Summer turned up right now, Candace would be the one who'd never looked for her daughter, who gave up on her day one, pretty much, and wasn't even willing to go and speak to the police while they were outside. She wanted to be inside playing with her hats and talking to Ali on the phone or whatever. You know, that's what it kind of makes my heart break, because that girl, even after she was like rescued from captivity, her mum still didn't really want to know her, had nothing to do with her. And yeah, it just makes my heart break when people, you know, give up on the people that are missing. Can't happen. And that's why it's important.
Barbara Knight wanted her money. She wanted the house.
Yeah.
She wanted the house that her daughter was chained up in.
It's disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah, like she has any right to anyone's tragedy. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. But we're going to keep on keeping on, Kat.
Yep, we will.
You
for sure.
Thank you for being such a great friend, such a great, I mean, everything to this community. I don't even know how to encapsulate you.
Oh, bless you. Well, you don't have to. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your community, and I've got some great friends here too, and I appreciate it. I should enjoy it. It's good to be a part of it.
No, everything from the cover photo to my avatar was made by Kat. I mean, anything that I really put up, when you see something, 9 times out of 10, Kat made it.
Yep, I try. I'm going to have to go because I've got to go to the grocery store and sort out my vapes. But it was really nice to chat with you, and I'll catch up with you later in Discord.
All right, let's have a big round of applause for our friend Kat.
Thank you.
Who we love so much.
Love you too.
I was tearing up talking to Kat. Dang it. I appreciate, again, you guys being here. Again, I understand the algorithm. I understand what people are talking about. I understand the popular cases. I get it. I get it. I get it. But the fact that you're here every morning, Monday through Friday, and sometimes an impromptu on the weekends, or a 2 for Tuesday or a 2 for Thursday, means the world. We have the best moderators, even if they're moderating from their purse or their robe pocket. We have the best moderators, and we have the best chat and best community on YouTube. I will see you guys back here at 9 a.m. tomorrow, because old Alexi Treviso is pulling a lot of BS. I will see you guys either in Discord, Facebook, and if I miss you there, I will see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place.